TBIC, the best in sports entertainment. We're here live in Empowerment USA, TNS Media Group as a team and the family. I want to thank everyone for tuning into our show. So let's get into this, man. Shedeur Sanders, man. This whole situation, I need to speak about this situation because I feel like Shedeur Sanders was, treated unfairly. I believe that everything that transpired from, the actual the workouts, the media workouts, the draft, everything. I believe that everything that he endured, I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders, everything that he endured through that whole process, I believe was just negative light, just negative news after negative news about Shedeur. And I think a lot of this came from the fact that Shedeur Sanders is a self-made millionaire. He has, he moves to the beat of his own drum. He's someone who's figured it out. He's figured out how to market himself. His team, his brothers, his father, that whole team over there, they created something which people don't like to see. It's a unity amongst men, amongst African American men. If you look at it, he's him and his father and what they did in Colorado, and before that, they have built something. They have turned garbage into gold. Spotlight's been on them. The tickets sales at the Colorado jumped once they got Shedeur and Dion there. They're on primetime television all the time because they have built something. And they showed that with hard work and if people stick together, that ultimately you can accomplish goals. Now let's go to the draft. If you look at the draft with Shedeur, right? He was a projected first-round pick. Everyone knows that none of those quarterbacks. We could probably say Cam Ward was someone that we can probably pick over him. But outside of Cam Ward, really, honestly, who is the better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders in that draft? For someone like him to drop all the way down to the fifth round and be picked in the fifth round, like you can't tell me that wasn't a shot being taken at him and his integrity as a player. And also, I think that this may have been some of Shedeur's doing because he said, "Hey, this is what I expect." He went into these meetings explaining to them that, hey, listen, this is what I think, giving his honest opinion. And now people look at that as him bucking the system. He's just speaking up for himself and what he believes. So with that being said, for such a talent to drop all the way to the fifth round and the Cleveland Browns jump up and take him in the fifth round, this was a steal for Cleveland, honestly. They got, probably the best quarterback or possibly the best quarterback who's going to come in and start right away because you already know that Watson is going to be out possibly, before the start of the season. So he's going to come in and start. So you got a first-round quarterback in the fifth round who's going to come in and start, ultimately change your franchise. Everyone knows that the ticket sales is down. They aren't winning. The team isn't playing fairly well. And now you infuse Shedeur Sanders into this franchise, into this city, a city that once, play home to LeBron James when he played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now you got somebody like Shedeur Sanders who's coming back into this franchise and they're going to infuse life into this city. Outside of the Cavs are playing fairly well, but the football team as of late has been, let's say they've been trash. So now you bring in Shedeur Sanders, who like I said, is going to change the ticket sales, jersey sales, the attendance, to the media day, training camp. All this stuff is going to be totally different because of Shedeur Sanders. And someone like him drops to the first round. Now, the other thing, the Atlanta Falcons, the coach over there, his son played a prank on Shedeur Sanders. Unfair. No matter how much you apologize, no matter what you say, you stole something from that man that day. You stole something from him. You stole that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You only get drafted once in the NFL. You get drafted, in sports period, you only can get drafted one time. But you get Shedeur Sanders get drafted one time, and he get a prank call where he thought that was the call for him to be drafted. You never know the emotions he went through, never know what he was enduring mentally, what was going on. The emotional factor of him being happy to get to receive that call, and then you take that away from him by playing a prank call. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter how much you apologize, you can never change the fact that you took something from that kid that day. This is a kid. This is a kid. No one understands this unless you've been drafted before. The emotions, the feelings that may have went into this. This is utterly disrespectful for him to have to go through this, and no one can say anything ultimately to soothe this pain or soothe this erratic behavior by someone that that affected not only Shedeur, but his family, his father, his brothers, his loved ones, everyone that was there who crowded around him when he got that phone call for them to say, yeah, this is such and such and such. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait again, wait longer, or whatever the case may be. That's way out of line. How do you do that to someone? How do you play this game on someone? How do you, affect someone in this manner, man? I don't agree with this. So I believe that Shedeur Sanders now is going to have a chip on his shoulder. I believe that Shedeur Sanders is going to come into this league and he's going to thrive and he's going to light this league up. And everyone that picked over him, every team that picked over Shedeur Sanders, that I'll say that needed a quarterback, that probably promised him, I'm going to draft you, that said to him things like, hey, we would love to have you on our team. All these teams that attended the workouts, so forth and so on, they're going to pay some way or another. And I believe that Shedeur Sanders is going to use this as fuel to his fire. And he's going to have and he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, whereas though he's going to come out and he's going to play against all 32 or any team that played that skipped over him and picked someone. Just look at the Giants. They picked. Come on, man. If you look at the draft, you look at all the quarterbacks that have been drafted in that draft, the only one that you can say that's possibly better than him is Cam Ward. You can't say that there's any other quarterback that's proven that you can look at the intangibles. If you look at the speed of getting off of the football, the pocket awareness. The list goes on and on and on. Possibly because Shedeur is not scrambling, doesn't have amazing athletic ability to run with the ball, but he can scramble and get you some yards. But outside of that, there may be other quarterbacks that can run a little faster than him. But as far as the intangibles and as far as the ability to play, the ability to read the pocket, so forth and so on, and to better the team around him, there's really no other quarterback in the draft that you can say that does that. And now, Cam Ward was first pick, but Cam Ward doesn't have the star power that Shedeur has. Let's be honest. No one has that star power. I look forward to Shedeur Sanders having one of the top selling NFL jerseys this season. Let's be clear. I look forward to Shedeur Sanders, like I said, this Cleveland Browns organization thriving as far as ticket sales, fan attendance, all these different things are going to go through the roof because they had a terrible season. They had a terrible season last year. So now you bring this player in. They should be thankful that they got somebody like Shedeur Sanders. And Shedeur Sanders ultimately should be thankful that he was drafted. But what he went through, I'll just say it was unfair. And I look forward to good things from Shedeur Sanders going forward. In my opinion, this is TBISC, the best in sports entertainment. You need home care services for yourself, but you don't know where to begin. Please allow Mecca Care to help you. Call now, 215-644-8341.